If you ever see a Muay Thai fighter whose gloves are looking a little worse for wear, I can almost guarantee that they just don't want them to retire. And in my case, that is exactly what is happening with the Boon Sport Classics. And these special gloves that I'm going to be reviewing today are something that feel so familiar from most Thai brands, but in their own right, in my opinion, are something very special. And when it comes to Thai gloves, I've tried many from most brands you've ever heard of. Twins, Booster, Top King, Fairtex, you name it. And while these gloves aren't perfect in one particular area, they are as a package something that you will absolutely love when it comes to hitting bags, hitting the pads or sparring. Boon Sport, heralding from Thailand, are a brand that runs a little bit under the radar here in Australia, but if you ever do get your hands on any of their products, whether gloves, Thai pads or Thai shorts, I think you're gonna turn yourself into a lifelong fan. But without further ado, let's take a look at these bad boys, inspect what is so good and maybe not so great about the Boon Classics. When it comes to their visuals, the Classics are something you've seen before within most Thai brands. They typically come in a one-tone colorway with very minimal screen prints on the back and the front of the glove. There is one aspect, however, of the Classics that is a bit of a standout, and that is the stitched label on the wrist. It is subtle, it is a small bit of detail, but what you can see is a little bit of Thai artwork in the background. Unfortunately, you guys won't be able to appreciate it as much as I will. They don't look as good, especially after a few months of wear and tear. The profile that you can see of the Classics is, again, something that you see in most Thai gloves, a little bit wider, a little bit shorter in comparison to your traditional boxing gloves. And a profile like this is obviously tailor-made for Muay Thai. So if you're looking to clinch a little bit easier, if you're looking to check and guard and all of the fun things that you do when it comes to Muay Thai, try and get yourself a Thai-made glove for all of those reasons. The Classics outer casing is a full leather glove. So on the back, on the front, on the back, it's a little bit smoother, very grainy on both sides. However, on the front, it's noticeably more grainy and on the wrist compartment compared to the rest of the glove, which gives it a little bit more of a rustic feel, which I really appreciate. And with a rustic full leather boxing glove, expect that if you don't treat them with the utmost care, that the age and the wear and tear will start to become noticeable earlier on, especially with white. So as you can see, there is some decent wear and tear on both gloves here. Even after taking a good amount of care, you can still expect gloves like this to age a little bit quicker than those made of slightly higher quality leather or synthetic materials. The casing of the Classics also is one piece on the back side, so there's a total connection to the thumb there. Most gloves, however, you'll never see that. They'll usually attach the thumb at a later stage just to help with production. However, here, this is a one piece, which I really appreciate. It really limits the possibility of that thumb tearing, which is a big plus. The only aspect of the glove I think which could do with a little bit of an upgrade is the inner lining. It's got a typical polyester lining that you see in most cheap to moderately priced boxing gloves. And while it does the job and it is breathable, it is quite thin. And when an inner liner is quite thin, it makes the hand fit not as comfortable as it should be. It may give you a little bit of a room, but it's not plush, it's not super comfortable. So if there's any awkward stitches on the inside, any foams that have moved around, it's very, very easy to notice. However, the hand fit, the padding and the way it's cut is what makes the Boon Classics, in my opinion, truly special. The hand fit when it comes to the length is perfect for me when it comes to a 12-ounce glove. I'll also, again, put my hand fit in the comments so you can see exactly how they fare compared to yours. And the width is great also. If you had a slightly wider, slightly bulkier hand, they'd still fit these gloves perfectly. I believe the padding in here is mostly EVA foam. It doesn't feel soft enough to have any latex. There's a very hard piece of foam more on the inside, which really caters to having a bit more of a realistic fist rather than having something really plush and soft. And the feeling of the padding was broken in almost instantly. As you can see, it is so easy for me to open and close my glove. That is a huge benefit in Thai boxing when you need to parry, catch, or grab kicks. So kudos to Boon for having a little bit more of a softer. Lastly, let's talk about the wrist section. There is about 15 to 20 mils of padding on the back of this 3-inch wrist wrap. There is not a lot of protection there, not a lot of support there either. As you can see, pretty typical of any Thai glove. Not great, but not terrible. The wrist wrap also sits on top of the cuff. So as you can see here, it's not perfectly flush. I love gloves like Power Box who do this, and they essentially add a little bit more padding on the outside of the Velcro here. So when you do end up wrapping up, it's nice and flush and a lot less chance of that Velcro ever coming undone during training or sparring. There is also about 20 to 30 mil of padding just sitting here on the outside of the wrist. So if you do end up checking a lot or catching kicks, this is a great piece of padding here, especially with your hands turned outwards. This is nice and easy for me to check without experiencing a lot of pain on that forearm or side of my palm. Now, after 12 months of use, the Velcro is reasonable. It's not the best, not the worst. I do see the Velcro lasting at least another 12 months, but again, take care of it. In that way, you won't need to wrap it up with tape. So as a package, the Boon Sport Classics to me are an absolute joy. Right now, these absolutely are my favorite gloves to hit bags with, to hit pads with, and also, even though they're a lighter weight, to spar with. They're big enough and bulky enough to protect my hands and my partner. Obviously a 16-ounce glove would be better, but if you're feeling cheeky and you're feeling a little bit more tired, these are still better than a lot of 16-ounce gloves I've used for sparring in terms of protection for both users. And still, after a solid year of use, I still want to use these gloves every time I train. From the way that the padding feels on the bag and pads, to how good the feedback is, to how protective they are on my hands, I absolutely adore these gloves for Thai boxing. If you're not into the most luxurious, stunning to look at gloves on the market and looking for something true to the sport of Muay Thai, I guarantee that if you give these gloves a go, you absolutely will not be disappointed. And in terms of value, for around 170 Aussie dollars, including shipping from Thailand, you can get these delivered right to your door. And if you're considering the cost difference between something from, say, Twins or from Yokkao doing the same delivery to your door from Thailand, it's a no-brainer that these are an absolutely more budget-effective choice. The foam in these gloves is still almost perfect, and the leather is only aging just slightly. And I'll tell you, once you hit the bag and pads with these gloves, it is outrageous just how much fun you're going to have. And in terms of recommendations, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend this glove to anybody who loves Muay Thai. Whether you're a beginner, pro, you name it, you love Thai clinching, you love pad work, you love bag work, especially sparring, this glove just ticks all the boxes. And on the flip side, the only people I wouldn't recommend these to are people who are purist boxers. If you're in love with boxing brands such as Rival, you're looking for a Western type boxing glove that really is shaped and is made for that sport, this may not be the glove for you. And that's it for another review, legends. I'll leave a link down below for these bad boys. I just want to also say thank you to Boon Sport for sending me these gloves. I truly appreciate it. And before I go, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll be sure to answer every message that comes in when I can. Thanks again for watching. See you all very soon. Cheers.